Hey guys, Tyler Lemaich here. I just wanted to jump on and do a quick track by track album review of the new Idols record, Tangk. Idols are, of course, the British post punk band from Bristol, UK, and I do believe this is their fifth full length record. But before I jump into the review, I want to quickly just outline my personal history with this band. Um, I would have discovered them off of their first record, Brutalism, first full length record, rather, Brutalism, in 2017. That was almost certainly from Anthony Fantano's top 50 albums of the year that he does every year. It might be 100. But, anyways, that's when I first was introduced to them, fell in love with them. I just happened to be going through a real intense post-punk phase at the time, and it really climaxed with Idols, and I was just a huge fan of that record. And they quickly followed that up with Joy as an act of resistance, and many bangers on that album. But I definitely kind of clocked that there was a little bit more of a radio friendly sound to a lot of these songs. And then, of course, they hit us with Ultramono. So this is the third record from them in a 3 year span or so. And now it's clear as day that all of these songs are highly produced. They're going for a broad audience. I feel like I'm listening to a Green Day record at times. So it's like, okay. And also really starting to note that there's a real pandering thing going on with a lot of these themes and song titles and lyrics. Um, I'm still in at this point, but I'm definitely my spidey sense is tingling a little bit in regards to I think they might pop, and I think once that record came out, it would not have surprised me at all if you told me that they were going to be one of the biggest rock bands in the world in 5-8 years time. Um, Still going to see them, but I'm hyper aware that the venue sizes are growing and growing. Ticket prices are growing with every time they come to Toronto. And then, of course, Crowler comes out, and now it's just a handful of songs that are okay on the record. I'm disliking more songs than I am liking. Um, a lot of songs are sounding very, very similar to each other. If anybody can, listen to every Idol song and name the song, I would be very impressed. So at this point, I'm kind of out, and I'm a little disappointed and feeling a little betrayed by the band, and not as excited about new albums coming out now. So here we are today. I'm sitting down and I'm taking in this new record, and I believe I've only heard the single, which was the collab with LCD Sound System, and my expectations are pretty low. So here we go. I'm going to do a track by track review. Okay, so we're going to start off with the opening track here, Idea 01, and disappointment. I let out an audible sigh when I heard this. And it's slightly moody and it's gripping, and if it wasn't an Idol song, and specifically the first track of an Idol's record, I might like this song a little bit more. But just clear as day, it's them saying, "Hey, we're not the Idols that you thought we were. This is not your, brutalism Idols. Um, this is a slow, poetic, melodic song with piano and a lot of sound effects going on here. It sounds a lot like Radiohead to me. Early 2000s Radiohead, so maybe something off of Kid A or Hail to the Thief or something like that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when it's coming from idols, it's pretty disappointing and not really at all in tune with what a lot of their fans have, gotten into them in the first place for. It does have a moment in the middle of the song there where it intensifies a little bit, but not enough to salvage the song for me. So overall, I'm going to give this track a 4 out of 10. Gift Horse, I just find this song kind of bland, and although there's no doubt that it's going to make you tap your toe a little bit, it sounds like something off of Ultramono. Again, every song on that album sounds the same to me. And I believe this was their LCD sound system collab, so it's a little bit funkier, but there's nothing special about this at all. I'm sure it'd be fun to hear live, but this isn't a song that I'm going to be seeing on my Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year. Going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. Track 3, Pop Pop Pop. What can I say? I don't like this at all. This is not for me. Really, really starting to hammer home that they're taking things in a different direction. Yeah, just kind of a bland, shitty song. Surprised it's so high up on the record. I just hope this means it's not the best track on the record. I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 10. Okay, so track 4 is Roy, and actually this song is awesome. This is my favorite song so far. It's slower and melodic, but it's really creepy and eerie and very unique. This is a really interesting sounding song. There's this distortion effect that creeps in to like middle towards the end of the song, and that's kind of grating on the ears. It's a little annoying, so I'm probably gonna have to subtract a little bit because it's kind of annoying to listen to actually. But yeah, that's a really really cool guitar riff. It sounds a lot like Liars to me actually. Something off of Liars' last album, perhaps. So I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. Really, really cool song. So of course, if I really like a song and rave about it, the next track is going to be more sentimental, soft bullshit. Um, and again, I think this is music that if you just sat me down and didn't tell me who it was, and I'd never heard of Idols before, I'd be like, oh, this is interesting music. I don't mind this. But the fact that it's coming from this band who I thought was this super aggressive post-punk band with all this attitude, to be putting out song after song of these piano heavy, melodic, slow, like honestly, this sounds like it could be on a Coldplay album. And yeah, so I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. It's not for me. Okay, next track is track 6, Dancer. This was one of their singles, so I've had a few chances to check this song out. The opening sounds, again, exactly like every single song on Ultramono. There's nothing standing out at all on this track. It would be fun to hear live. There's no question that it would get people dancing, and it's a groovy song, but absolutely nothing unique about this song in regards to Idol's other work. Pretty disappointing, pretty bland. I'm definitely feeling like I be okay if I never see them live ever again because it's just getting more and more expensive, and more people are coming to the shows now, and pretty soon these albums are going to be the albums that the majority of the fan base knows, and they're going to be reflected by that. Like, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of punk looking people going to Idol shows anymore. I think it's going to be a lot softer of a crowd. But anyways, I'm going to give Dancer a 5.5 out of 10. Next track is called Grace. And again, same thing. I'm just going to keep repeating myself, which is ironic because that's what Idols have been doing for their last 2, 3 albums. Um, this, again, really, really hearing an early 2000s Radiohead song sound here. Um, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think this is probably their best song on this album of this nature, of this genre, this electronic uh, soundscape that they're playing with here. But again, I hold Idols to a much higher standard. So knowing that this is an Idol song, it's not that impressive, and I don't really think it's the direction that they should be going in. But that being said, I can't ignore that it's a pretty cool sounding song, so I'll give this a 6.5 out of 10. Ugh, okay, next up is Hall and Oates, and this just makes me want to hit my head into a wall because it's so clearly like, okay, let's make a song for our root core fan base because everything else has been sounding like Coldplay and Radiohead. So let's give them something upbeat and catchy that we can throw on the radio. Very, very, very similar to Mr. Motivator, but so incredibly simple musically. Like, I feel like you could hand a guitar to a 9-year-old and teach them how to play this song in about 3 minutes. That's just what I'm getting. I'm getting the sense that they're like, we need to put something somewhat aggressive, catchy, up tempo, and short onto this record to keep the original fan base happy. And it just feels like they probably wrote this song in about an hour, and just very, very unimpressed with this song. And I'm going to give it a pretty low score here, a 5.5 out of 10, for the reasons that I just mentioned. Okay, next up is the 9th track, Jungle. I think this actually might be my favorite song on this album. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. Really, really cool and intense moments when the chorus picks up in the climax. If every song on this album sounded this fresh and this intense, I'd probably still be saying that Idols were like my favorite band. This is, it reminds me of what got me into them in the first place. So very, very cool song. I love this song. Definitely throwing it on my Spotify. 10th track is called Gratitude, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think we've got 2 tracks in a row here that I'm a really big fan of. This is a really cool song. Very catchy bass. And by the way, if you ever have a chance to see Idols live, you're definitely going to appreciate their bass player. Just like with Viagra Boys, it's very, very thick and present, and it won't be ignored. So this is just a very cool song, really catchy. I'm gonna give this 7 out of 10. And then of course the album ends with the outro track, Monolith, which is just more quiet, sentimental garbage that is completely forgettable. Nobody's gonna be throwing this song on their playlist unless it's like a sad girl mix. But really just kind of more than anything hammering home that Idols were never a post-punk band. They were like, you listen to their tracks from like the 2012 era, they sound exactly like Interpol. Like, they so clearly wanted to be Interpol, and then they never popped. Like they would play Toronto at like clubs that hold like 300 people, and tickets were like $10. Like, it wasn't happening for them. And they I guess they realized that if they go in this more aggressive post-punk route and have like really strong political messaging, in the time of Brexit and Trump and all that, and then they found their voice, and they grew their audience, and then they started getting way more broad. And I think the work suffers a lot because of it. My biggest complaint is just how much the songs all sound the same. There's just very, very little room for creative uniqueness in their sound, and that's my biggest issue. And I think that often that can come from laziness or from record producers or them themselves trying to put out as much music as possible in as fast amount of time, and the work is suffering a little bit because of it. But yeah, this last track kind of whatever. It's fine. I think it kind of sucks. I'll give it like a 4.5 out of 10. Overall, pretty disappointing album that's not really standing out in my memory at all. Um, I think it'll definitely have less replays than Crawler did. Um, but yeah, no, there are definitely some moments. Like I said, Roy, Jungle, and Gratitude being the shining moments on this record. But yeah, so I guess when you add it all up, I'm giving this record a 5.8 out of 10, which sounds about right, honestly. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my review and my insight to this record, and have a nice day.